Hi guys, just wanted to show you how I did this tray. So basically I used Oracle 816 stencil material and start from the corner there. I also use a transfer tape. So you peel that all off and then you put the transfer tape on and then you set it on your tray or material and just be careful of any air bubbles. So I'm just smoothing that out with my fingers, but then I go in with a you could use a Visa credit card type idea and then just make sure that you're making sure that there's no air bubbles or no pockets. And then I'm gonna go ahead and I used a chalk paint for this. I like to start from the side and work my way onto it just because then that way if there's too much paint on my brush, it's not going right on the stencil. Make sure you're dabbing up and down though. That is super important because you don't want to squish the paint into the sides of the stencil, otherwise it can bleed everywhere. So yeah, that up and down, of course my paintbrush is falling apart. And you can use any paintbrush here. You could also use a sponge. Just make sure you're not using too much paint at a time. It's easier to add than it is to take away. Here you can see that I'm just using a basic sponge you can get at the dollar store. And again, it's just acrylic paint that I like to use and chalk paints. I find that they dry nice and fast and they last really well as long as you seal the thing. So yeah, here's again, I'm just using a yellow and doing that dabbing technique, and this is now with just a regular dollar store paintbrush, nothing too fancy. You can tell that it's a little bit tricky around the leaves there because they have to make sure that you're not blending too much into it. You don't want to make a big mess there. And then I just use a paintbrush for the stem, just a regular painting on. Make sure you're painting away from the stencil, not towards it. So here you can see that it's all done and I'm ready to peel up, and notice that I'm peeling from a corner again. I'm going towards a corner, I'm not peeling straight up and down. And it is tricky. Make sure that your paint is nice and dry because otherwise you're gonna make a big mess. So yeah, I just peel this all off, and then I'm gonna take the time later on to what they call weed it out, and that's taking out all of the centers and whatnot. And I like to use a dental tool for this. I actually got it at a store, and they're like $3. I found it in Owen Sound, and they were perfect because they can peel up without damaging anything. Just be careful because it's sharp, of course. So yeah, just going out through this and weeding out all of the things, and then I'm gonna take time to seal this afterwards. So yeah, here is the finished product, and I absolutely love how it turned out. Hope you do too.